Filmer, Travisfilmer.
All right, please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give today shall be the truth, whole truth, but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Morning. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, my name is Travis. I'm Laurie's husband.
And are you a convicted felon?
Correct.
How many times have you been convicted of a felony?
I have 2 charges against me. 2 convictions.
And would it help refresh your recollection of that if I showed you your judgment, sir?
Sure.
Do you remember this case?
Yes. Yes.
One felony there?
Yep.
In this case, 2 felonies there.
Oh, so when I was 18, that was 2?
So you have a total of 3.
Okay. Yep.
You agree with that?
I do.
Now, you said you're Laurie Shaver's husband.
Correct.
Can you identify her and point her out in court today, please?
Laurie's right there.
And which seat is she sitting in?
The second.
And how did you meet Ms. Shaver?
I met Miss Filmer at through my brother. He knew her from the gym, and he introduced us at her residence at a get-together that he had put together with his now current wife.
And when was that get-together?
Late January 2016, I believe.
And why did your brother put together a gathering at her house?
He said it was something for work, a get-together for work.
Were you aware of any time that either your brother or his now wife was living at Ms. Shaver's residence?
At that time, no.
When did they live there?
I think his wife was there. She was there sometime before that, I guess.
Okay, so she was living there before that time frame in 2016.
Correct.
And when did you and Ms. Shaver start dating?
Late May of 2016.
So between January and May, what was your relationship at that time?
We didn't have one.
Did you communicate, text, phone, anything like that?
We had a few conversations here and there, but we didn't. I was in a relationship. She made it very clear to me the first night that we met that she was in a relationship, so we didn't communicate.
And at the time that you started dating, had she ever told you what her marital status was?
No, sir.
Had she ever told you that she was single, but she had been previously divorced?
She told me that she was in a relationship with a gentleman, but at that time never got into any marital status.
Do you remember giving a deposition in this case?
I do.
Do you remember saying anything different about what her representations of her marital status was at that time?
At the time that we first met?
I'm talking about when you started dating her. Did she ever talk about her marital status?
No.
Okay. Do you remember giving that deposition?
I remember having a deposition, correct.
I'm going to go ahead and refer to page 4, line 25, Mr. Woods, showing you a copy of that deposition. Go ahead and read to yourself line 24 and 25.
Yeah, that didn't happen at that time.
Had she ever told you that she was divorced?
Yes, sir.
All right. What was her ex-husband's name then?
Michael.
And what did she tell you about the whereabouts of her ex-husband at that time?
She just told me that they were divorced and that he wanted nothing to do with the family, did not know where he was, and he was not around.
And had she expressed to you that he left and wasn't having contact with the children?
Correct.
And how long did you date until you moved into her home?
A few months.
Do you remember about when you actually moved in, what month it would have been?
Probably July, late July.
And who all was living at that home at that time?
Laurie, her two kids, and Becca.
And Rebecca is...
Rebecca. Yeah.
That would be your brother's girlfriend at the time.
Correct.
Now, and they're now married.
Correct.
How long did Rebecca stay living in that home?
I don't know.
Did she end up moving out around December 31st, 2016?
I have no idea.
Okay. And in December 31st, 2015, did you have some sort of commitment ceremony with Laurie Shaver?
I'm sorry, you just said December 31st, 2015.
Thank you for correcting me. December 31st, 2016.
Yes, sir.
All right. And when you say commitment ceremony, what is that?
Just a commitment to each other under God.
And had you had any discussions about why you wouldn't just get legally married at that point?
Yes, sir.
And why did she tell you that she didn't want to get legally married?
Laurie, when we were talking about marriage, in conversation, told me that she did not want to sign.
All right, sidebar, please.
Why did she tell you she did not want to get legally married?
She told me that due to the extreme trauma and abuse of her previous marriage, she did not want to sign a contract with another man that she felt like gives the man to make her property.
All right. Do you remember giving a deposition where I asked you a very similar question?
Yes, sir.
And at that time you said she didn't want to get married because she had financial issues.
100%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So not what you just said.
No.
But financial.
Together with what I just said.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and show you that deposition. Just going to have to go ahead and ask you to reference that section where you're talking about that.
I'd ask the state to advise on the page and line that they're referencing.
Yes, please recite the page and line number. Thank you.
It is page 8, lines 8 through 11. Mr. Filler, you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, you did not say anything about the violence. It was about financial issues.
I did not.
Okay. But now when you're testifying, when your wife is facing murder charges, now your testimony has changed.
She was facing murder charges when we had that deposition.
But your testimony has changed.
It has not.
Okay. Now in September of 2016, did you help pour a cement slab in the backyard of the residence where you are now living?
I did.
And who helped you with that?
Laurie.
Did your brother help you with that as well?
No, sir.
In order to do that, did you go and rent a cement mixer from Home Depot?
I did.
I'm showing you, show defense. It has been previously marked in the State's Exhibit AA. Do you recognize this receipt?
Sure.
And is that the receipt for the cement mixer that you rented to help pour this?
Yeah, it looks like one.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, the State removes State's AA into evidence as State's number 27.
Any objection?
No objection.
Without objection, State's AA will be moved into evidence as State's number 27.
And can you go ahead and just read out when that was rented?
When it was rented?
Yes.
The date says 9/12/2016.
At that commitment ceremony that you referenced in December of 2016, What was Laurie wearing?
A white dress.
And did someone escort her to where you were?
Yes, I'm trying to remember who that was.
Was it your grandfather?
Yes, sir, it was.
Was there basically some sort of official there doing the proceeding?
Correct.
For anyone looking at this would look like a wedding.
100%.
And had you represented to everyone that you were getting married at that time?
No.
Okay. So no one thought that this was a wedding?
No.
I'm going to go ahead and show you States CC for identification.
All right, let's have a sidebar, please. All right, thank you. As a housekeeping matter, States AA exhibit or item of evidence number 27 is now properly marked for identification purposes as States BB Bravo Bravo and has been entered into evidence as States number 27. All right, please proceed. Thank you.
Showing a witness what has been previously marked as States CC. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, sir.
Is that a photograph from this commitment ceremony?
That is.
And is this a true and accurate depiction of the ceremony on that day, December 31st, 2016?
Yes, sir.
At this time, the state moves CC into evidence as the next exhibit.
Any objection?
Okay.
States CC will be entered into evidence as States number 28.
Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes, sir.
So at the time you were doing this ceremony in this fashion in front of your friends and family, you're saying that you had not represented this as a wedding?
That we told everybody it was a ceremony, correct.
Now, in 2018, law enforcement responds to your home, and eventually skeletal remains are found in your backyard. Do you remember that?
I do.
And at that time, did you ask Miss Shaver how that body got back?
I did not.
So this person that you were in this committed relationship with that had told you that her husband had just left, just had no contact with the kids, there's a body found in the backyard, and you don't ask her a single question.
That's not exactly what happened. Laurie called me on the day that the detective showed up at the house. I was at work. I had just gotten off work, and she called me sobbing, crying, and I asked her what was wrong. She proceeded to tell me that detectives had shown up at the house and they were asking about Michael. She then told me that they had left. I told her I will be home shortly. I worked real close to where we were living, and I got home, walked in the house. As soon as I walked in the house, a detective knocked on the door. He proceeded to ask me if I knew anything about Michael. I said, no, I've never met him. I couldn't even tell you what he looks like if you showed me a picture. And which detectives did show me a picture. I was like, okay. They just told me, we'll be in touch. And that was that. I walked back in the house. I told Laurie, I said, it looks like something serious is going on. You need to get an attorney.
But specifically, you did not ask her anything about the fact that that body was found in the backyard.
Correct.
Do you remember ever saying that at one point you did ask her about it and she said she had no idea about it?
No, sir.
No. After the body was discovered, did you speak with law enforcement?
I had multiple conversations with law enforcement.
Did you ever make the statement, it is not that he is, statement relaying from Ms. Shaver, that it is not that he is missing, it is that he is no longer walking the face of this earth? Have you ever made that statement to law enforcement?
Thank you for bringing that up, because there's a point of clarification. I understand
Sir,
what
please
you're...
don't argue. Please answer the question.
Yes, sir. I did not make that statement.
Okay. You never made that statement to law enforcement?
Not exactly as you're saying it, no.
Did you ever make that statement to Robert Proper?
Not as you're saying it, no.
And who is Robert Proper?
He's somebody that I have done work for.
Is he a friend of yours?
No, sir.
Have you known him for a long time?
I have known of him for a long time.
You have no issues with him, though?
I do not.
You are now officially married to Ms. Shaver, correct?
Correct.
Right. When did that occur?
2020.
Do you have any children with her?
I do.
How many?
2,
What are their names?
Erilyn and Samuel.
Has your relationship
Excuse me.
with your brother and your family changed in any way since you started a relationship with Ms. Shaver?
Not since I started a relationship with her, since this investigation started.
Has there ever been a time where Ms. Shaver used your phone to text your brother where she was acting as if she was you?
Not to my knowledge.
Have you ever told anyone that she did that?
No.
Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Wiggs?
Yes, may it please the court.
Yes, sir.
Travis, let's take up with one of the last issues that the state was asking you about some statement. The state was implying that you had made some statement possibly that Laurie made about, well, he's not walking this earth, something of that nature. Could you tell us the circumstances of any questioning by law enforcement?
Law enforcement wanted to have an interview with me, and I did not want to speak with them. One of the detectives had told me that if I do not speak with them, I would feel the full force of the United States government. I ended up having a conversation with that detective, and I told him that I was working for Mr. Proper, and that him and I were sitting on the back of my truck at the time, and he asked me what did I think was going on. And I proceeded to tell him that based on law enforcement's response, I didn't think that this was a welfare check. I didn't think that he was walking around anymore.
I see. Now, tell me about, did law enforcement come out to the residence and say they were conducting a welfare check?
I believe so.
Okay, did you confront or speak with law enforcement in the backyard about their presence and why they were there?
No, the only time I spoke with law enforcement at the property was the day that they were doing their investigation.
Okay. Did law enforcement question you in the yard whether or not you saw anything unusual or anything of that nature?
During the interview, law enforcement asked me if I had ever seen anything unusual, and I pointed a place out in the very back of the yard and said if I had to point something out, I would say this is, and it was a large mound. It was a large mound of dirt. So I pointed that out. The officer had the property pulled up on his phone, Google Earth, and he proceeded to point me towards the fireplace. and asked me if there was anything unusual about the fireplace. I said no. I said the only thing that I've ever seen unusual is this very large amount of dirt in the back of the property. He then directed me back to the fireplace, and he did that a few times. And I just told him, I said, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I see. Okay. So there was a period of time in which this patio was poured, correct?
I'm sorry, say that again?
There was a period of time, as the state's referenced, about a mixer being rented, correct? Okay. You and Laurie pouring the patio, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the state has suggested that this date of death was, I believe, around 9/12/16.
Objection, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right.
This
Sidebar, please. There's an objection. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a specific date was stated on the record. Please disregard that date. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. So law enforcement directs you to this patio, correct?
Yes, sir.
You helped lay the patio, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything unusual as you laid the patio?
No, when Laurie and I first met, the patio slash fireplace that is in question right now, the dirt was already graded out. The form of the fireplace was already there. So there was concrete bags in one of the sheds that was at the property when I met Laurie.
How long had they sat on the property, to your knowledge?
I have no idea.
Were they there several months or what?
After Laurie and I met?
Yeah.
Oh, it was months.
Did there appear to be any hurry to lay a patio?
No, sir. In fact, the only reason why we decided to lay the patio was Isabel, Laurie's oldest daughter, her birthday's in September. So we were going to have a large get-together, a birthday party, and the area around the fire pit was all mud. So we decided, well, the concrete's there in the shed. We're going to go ahead and lay that so people don't have to stand in mud during the celebration.
The mixer that you rented, did you use a credit card or cash?
I don't remember. It could have been either or.
There wasn't any effort to try to conceal your whereabouts, disguise your presence in there,
No.
correct?
No.
Anybody substitute their presence for you?
No, sir.
Did you ask anybody other than taking care of this personally?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you see evidence of any crime within the residence
No,
the
sir.
whole time you were there?
Never.
Okay. One moment, please, Judge.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Redirect?
No, sir.
And may the witness be excused from his subpoena.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for appearing today. You're excused from further testimony. Have a good day. Okay, your next witness.
Robert Kroger.